Welcome to Unit 10.7, Reading Graphs. The first kind of graph we are going to read today is a graph that shows us running and walking speeds of some different children. Tamara, William, and Imani timed themselves traveling the same distance in different ways. Tamara ran, William walked, and Imani walked toe to heel. Our job is to figure out which of these lines matches each student's rate of movement. Since it says in the problem that Tamara ran, we know that she traveled the most distance in the smallest amount of time. Because of this, we can assume that her graph is graph A. In the problem, it says that William walked. Since walking is not as fast as running, but it is faster than walking heel to toe, we can guess that William's graph is graph B. Since walking toe to heel is the slowest way to travel, and this is how Imani walked, we can guess that her graph line is graph line C. What if we added one more student to this graph? Jadaric came along later and was the slowest of all. He walked heel to toe backward. Draw a line on the graph to show the speed that you think Jadaric walked. Jadaric's speed will definitely be slower than anybody else's speed on the graph. Because of that, his line will look something like this. Traveling the same distance as everybody else will take him the longest time of anybody. That's why his line is the flattest line in the graph. Next, we are going to discuss how to take the information found on a graph and make a table from it. Since I don't know what information this graph is showing me, I am going to make a simple t-chart with one side labeled X and one side labeled Y. My chart is going to cover the information found on this line of the graph. Looking at the first point, I can see that it falls between 4 and 5 on the x-axis and between 0 and 1 on the y-axis. So the coordinates that I am going to fill in for my x and y t-chart are 4.5 and 0.5. The second dot falls at 4 and 1. The third dot falls at 2 and 3. The final dot falls at -3 and +8. Now I have to figure out what the rule is for taking x and finding y. After careful consideration, I notice that the sum of the x and the y columns is 5. 4.5 plus 0.5 is 5. 4 plus 1 is also 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. And -3 plus +8 is 5. Using this information, I find that my rule is x plus y equals 5. Our final skill for today is being able to analyze graph errors. There are 26 students in Miss Wynn's class. They wanted to find the mean number of books that students have read in their class. They found out that half of the class had read 5 or fewer books, and the other half had read more than 15 books. The mode for the class was 19 books. They made a line plot of their results. While there are many errors with this graph, one major error is that the graph shows that the mode is 2, right here, but the mode should be 19, which would land right here. The mode is the piece of information that appears the most often in a set of data. What are some other mistakes that you notice with this graph? Here is your practice problem for the day. The students in Miss Wynn's 5th grade class took a favorite color survey. About the same number of people voted for red, blue, and green. Orange and yellow got about the same number of votes, but the votes were a lot less than the other 3 colors. They made a bar graph of their results. Please look carefully at the bar graph on your paper. You need to describe at least one error in the favorite colors graph. Explain how you know this is an error.